The worst blood sugar crash I ever had happened while I was sound asleep. I didn't feel it coming. Didn't hear a single warning bell. I just woke up in a puddle of sweat, heart racing like a jackrabbit, completely disoriented. Thought I was having a nightmare. Turns out it was my blood sugar dropping like a rock at 3:07 a.m. And the crazy part? My sugar had looked perfect before bed. Nobody ever told me how sneaky those overnight swings can be, especially for folks our age. When you got diabetes in a body that doesn't bounce back like it used to, nighttime becomes a whole different battlefield. I used to dread going to sleep, not because of bad dreams, but because I didn't trust what my body might do while I was resting. Would I be running to the bathroom again? Would my feet start burning like they were on fire? Or worse, would I wake up at all? Thank the Lord. Things started shifting after I made a few simple changes. I'll walk you through 7 reasons folks like us struggle with sleep after 60, and the little fixes that help me finally get some real rest again. If you're hoping for better nights too, give this video a like and hit subscribe. I also left a natural drink recipe in the description that helps regulate blood sugar while you sleep. It helped me, and it might just help you too. Number 7, nighttime blood sugar swings. I still remember the night I woke up thinking I was having a stroke. My vision was blurry, my hands were clammy, and I couldn't figure out where I was for a good minute or two. The house was dark, the silence heavy, and there I was, drenched in sweat and shaking like I'd run a marathon in my dreams. Turns out, it wasn't a heart attack. It was a good old blood sugar crash, one of the worst I'd had. And the strangest part? I'd eaten a full dinner, checked my levels, and everything looked normal. That's when I learned the real trouble wasn't before bed. It was what happened after. Diabetes after 60 plays by a different rule book, and nobody handed me a copy. One day your numbers are fine. The next night you're waking up feeling like you've been hit by a truck. What I didn't understand back then was how my body would swing between evening highs and those dangerous nighttime lows. You eat something that spikes you, white rice, sweet potatoes, or even fruit alone, and then a few hours later, your sugar drops like a stone. That crash hits hardest when you're deep asleep. You don't see it coming. You just feel the aftermath, confusion, weakness, fear. What finally helped me was changing how I ended the day. I stopped trying to eat light for dinner and started thinking in terms of balance. Slow carbs, healthy fats, and enough fiber to slow everything down. These days, I'll have a little grilled chicken with broccoli and a baked half-sweet potato drizzled in olive oil. And about 30 minutes before bed, I'll do a small spoonful of almond butter with chia pudding. Not only does it taste like dessert, but it holds my sugar steady through the night. I don't wake up shaking. I don't wake up confused. I just sleep. It's humbling to realize how much something so small can impact something as big as rest. My doctor had never mentioned this. It was trial and error and a whole lot of praying at 3 a.m. that led me to figure it out. And once I did, I felt more in control. I started testing not just in the morning, but right before bed. Sometimes I'd even jot down what I ate and how I felt the next day. Over time, the pattern became clear. My body didn't want to stop eating. It wanted me to stop spiking and crashing. There's a difference. Now, when I hear folks say, I just don't sleep well anymore, I wonder if their sugar is riding that same roller coaster. If you've ever jolted awake in a panic, soaked in sweat, with your heart thumping in your ears, you're not alone. And thank the Lord, there are ways to get off that ride. You don't need a new gadget or a dozen supplements. Sometimes, the answer is right there in your pantry, waiting to help you rest easy, one spoonful at a time. Number 6, tightening my evening carbs and hydrating earlier. Back when I was still figuring things out, I thought needing to pee all night was just part of getting older. The bladder shrinks, they say, or that's just age. But one night, I counted. I was up 5 times between midnight and dawn. That wasn't just aging, it was exhaustion. And the next day, I felt like I hadn't slept at all. Took me a while, but I finally connected the dots. My blood sugar was running high in the evening, and my body was doing what it's supposed to do. Flush it out. High sugar means your kidneys work overtime. That sugar pulls water out with it, and your bladder gets the brunt of the job. What's worse, I had this habit of sipping water all the way up until bedtime, thinking I was staying healthy. But that backfired big time. I'd end up running to the bathroom all night, chasing both sugar and hydration. Once I figured that out, I started front-loading my water earlier in the day. 2 glasses at breakfast, another 2 at lunch, and maybe 1 by 5 p.m., then I'd taper off. Cutting back on evening carbs was the other big piece. I don't mean giving up everything. I still enjoy a small baked potato now and then, but I steer clear of things like pasta or crackers at night. Instead, I lean into fiber and healthy fats, a handful of walnuts, a slice of cheese, or even half an avocado. That helps keep things steady. And when my sugar stays stable in the evening, I notice I wake up fewer times, and the urge to pee isn't nearly as strong. It's wild how long I accepted those nightly bathroom trips as normal. I used to laugh it off with buddies at church. Guess we're all on the 2 a.m. shift. But now I know better. And honestly, there's no medal for suffering through bad nights if you don't have to. God gave us the wisdom to notice patterns. And when I paid attention to mine, I saw the connection clear as day. Less sugar at night, more water earlier, fewer interruptions to the peace He's trying to give me in the dark hours. The first night I made the change, I only woke up once. The second night, not at all. I sat on the edge of my bed the next morning, stunned. Something so simple, just timing my water and dialing back evening carbs, brought back rest I hadn't felt in years. And the best part? I wasn't dragging through the day anymore. My mornings felt lighter, and my mood was just plain better. Sometimes, healing starts with listening, especially to your own body. Number 5, better foot care, magnesium, and a supportive mattress. The burning started in my toes, just a little tingle at first, like pins and needles after sitting too long. But by the time the sun went down, it turned into a steady fire that climbed up my feet like they were walking across hot coals. Sleeping through that? Nearly impossible. I'd toss and turn, sticking my feet out from under the covers, then tucking them back in, trying to find some position that didn't feel like punishment. Turns out it wasn't just poor circulation. It was diabetic neuropathy, and it doesn't take a break just because it's nighttime. My wife was the one who finally said, "Let's try something different." So I started paying attention to my feet, like they were a part of me I'd neglected. Every night before bed, I washed them gently, dry them completely, and rub in a magnesium-rich cream that I found at the pharmacy. Feels cool, soothing, like a prayer for my skin. I also take a low-dose magnesium glycinate with dinner. My doctor said it helps muscles relax, and sure enough, it eased the twitching and burning more than I expected. But what truly surprised me was the mattress. I'd had the same one since 2009, stiff as a barn door. My son helped me find a more supportive one. Not super fancy, just enough cushion to relieve pressure points. That simple switch meant my heels didn't press so hard through the night, and I could actually lie still without needing to shift every 20 minutes. It was like sleeping on a soft path instead of gravel. Sometimes we don't realize how much we're enduring until something eases it. I thank the Lord for the peace I feel now when I lay down. Sure, I still have rough nights here and there, but the fire isn't raging anymore. And when I wake up without that deep ache in my feet, I know the care I gave myself the night before made a difference. Ain't nothing selfish about tending to the parts of us that hurt the most. Looking back, I wish I'd done this sooner. Foot pain kept stealing my sleep, and with it my energy, my patience, even my joy. But now I see it wasn't just something to suffer through. With a little care, some help from nature, and the right kind of support under my body, sleep returned. Not perfect, but restful. And after 60, that's a gift I don't take for granted. Number 4, a small, consistent bedtime routine and a stabilizing snack. There was a season where I'd lie in bed every night staring at the ceiling wide awake. Not because I wasn't tired, but because my brain wouldn't quit. I'd start running numbers in my head. Did I eat too much at dinner? What if I dropped too low at 3 a.m.? Should I get up and check? It became a loop. Anxious thoughts spinning until the birds started chirping. It wasn't just stress. It was fear. Fear of what my body might do while I wasn't looking. That's when I realized I needed to train my brain to feel safe again before sleep. Not with pills or big changes, just steady, simple signals to tell my body it's time to rest. So I built myself a bedtime routine. Every night around 9, I dim the lights, put on soft music, usually some old hymns, and do the same small things in the same order. Brush teeth, wash face, pray, journal one thing I'm grateful for. That rhythm became a kind of lullaby, not for my ears, but for my nerves. And right before bed, I eat something small and steady. Nothing sugary, nothing too heavy, just something that gives my blood sugar a little anchor. A slice of cheese with a few almonds, half a rice cake with almond butter, even a hard-boiled egg if I'm in the mood. That stabilizing snack changed everything. No more 2 a.m. wake-ups with the shakes. No more lying there wondering if I should get up and eat something. It gave my body enough to hold on to, and my mind followed suit. Funny how peace can come from such ordinary things. I used to think I needed to do more, fix more, know more, but sometimes all your body wants is consistency, a few calming habits, a little nourishment, and a sense that it's safe to close your eyes. I still pray before bed, not just out of routine, but out of gratitude. Those quiet moments with God remind me I'm not in this alone, and that brings a peace no supplement can match. So if your nights feel noisy, even when the house is quiet, maybe your body's just waiting for you to show up the same way, night after night. That's what helped me. Not a miracle cure, just a steady rhythm of kindness at the end of each day. And ever since, sleep comes more gently like a friend who finally knows they're welcome. Number 3, switching to herbal tea after lunchtime. My grandson once asked why I always had a coffee mug in my hand. I told him, it keeps me going. Why I didn't say back then was how much it kept me awake at night. 2. For most of my adult life, coffee was my companion. Morning, noon, and even a cup around 4 or 5 p.m. if I felt sluggish. It felt harmless, comforting, even. But as I crossed into my 60s, I started noticing something strange. I was tired but wired, ready for bed, but my body wasn't ready to let go. It took me a long time to connect the dots. See, as we get older, our bodies don't process caffeine like they used to. What used to wear off in a couple hours can linger all night. I'd fall asleep okay, but then I'd wake up around 1 or 2 in the morning, heart tapping, mind racing. Not from stress, just leftover coffee still running through my veins. I thought I needed coffee to get through the day, but really it was stealing my nights. So I made a deal with myself. No more caffeine after lunch. At first, I worried I'd crash, but I found something better. Around 3 p.m., I started brewing a pot of warm herbal tea. Chamomile, lemon balm, or a blend with cinnamon and ginger. Sometimes I'll even add a splash of almond milk and a touch of cinnamon. It feels like a cozy hug in a mug. That became my new ritual. And instead of revving me up, it gently helped me wind down. The result? I stopped waking up so restless. My body felt calmer going into the evening, and my thoughts slowed down naturally. It wasn't dramatic. It was gradual, like a window slowly closing instead of a curtain being yanked shut. And somehow, that gentler rhythm gave me better sleep and better mornings. I started waking up ready, not groggy. And best of all, I didn't need to chug coffee just to feel human at sunrise. It still amazes me how something so ordinary, a simple switch from coffee to tea, can bring so much peace back into your nights. I don't miss that 4 p.m. pick-me-up anymore. I'd rather have a good night's rest. And if you've been struggling to settle down at night, take a look at what's in your cup. The answer might be quieter than you think. Number 2, dimming lights and avoiding screens at night. The older I get, the more I notice how sensitive my body is to light. I used to fall asleep with the TV humming in the background or check my phone one last time before bed. Harmless, I thought, but over time, something changed. I'd crawl into bed feeling worn out, yet sleep wouldn't come. It felt like my brain was stuck in daylight, even though the clock said 10:30. What I didn't know back then is that after 60, our bodies make less melatonin, that natural sleep signal, and bright lights, especially from screens, don't help one bit. One evening, out of pure frustration, I decided to try something different. I turned off the overhead lights and left just a little lamp on in the corner. The room went from bright to cozy in an instant. I left my phone charging in the kitchen, swapped out TV time for an old paperback, and just sat in the stillness. At first, it felt strange, but within a few days, I noticed something. I was yawning earlier. My body started getting the message. Time to rest. Now, about an hour before bed, I treat my home like the sun's already gone down. I light a candle, turn off anything with a screen, and just enjoy the quiet. Sometimes I pray. Sometimes I write down a memory or something I'm grateful for. And sometimes I just sit in the dark with a warm cup of tea. That little drop in stimulation makes a big difference. It's like giving my mind permission to let go of the day. There's something peaceful about watching the house get dim and still. It reminds me of childhood evenings in Tennessee, when my folks would turn off the porch light, and we'd all gather in the living room, soft-spoken, winding down from the day. We didn't need screens back then. We had stories and each other. And maybe that's the secret now, too, slowing down in ways that feel human again. Since I started dimming the lights and cutting out screens, I don't feel as restless at night. My body seems to welcome sleep instead of resisting it. And I believe God gave us night, not just as a break from work, but as a holy invitation to rest. Turning down the lights is just one way I say yes to that invitation. And my sleep has never been more thankful. Number 1, adding fat and fiber to evening snacks. I used to think an apple before bed was the healthiest choice I could make. Clean, natural, easy on the stomach. But almost every time I did it, I'd wake up groggy, irritated, or even shaky. Took me a while to put 2 and 2 together. Fruit by itself, especially before bed, can spike blood sugar just enough to cause a dip a few hours later. That innocent apple turned out to be a little sugar bomb that didn't carry me through the night. Once I learned that trick, pairing carbs with fat and fiber, everything started to click. See, fat and fiber slow things down. They tell your body, no need to panic, we got time. That's the difference between a spike and crash and a steady line till morning. These days, I still enjoy fruit, but I don't let it show up to the party alone. If I want an apple, I add a tablespoon of peanut butter. Sometimes I'll make a little chia pudding with unsweetened almond milk and a touch of cinnamon. It tastes like dessert, but behaves like medicine. That one change, adding something with staying power, transformed my nights. I stopped waking up starving or shaky. My sugar level stayed steady, and I felt more grounded in the mornings. I no longer feared bedtime snacks. In fact, they became part of my little nighttime ritual. Not a heavy meal, just something gentle and grounding to carry me through the hours ahead. It gave me back trust in my own body, and that's something I hadn't felt in a long time. It's funny, isn't it? We spend so much time being told what not to eat. Don't eat late, don't eat fat, don't eat this or that. But sometimes the body needs a little something, the right something, to feel safe and steady. I thank the Lord I discovered that when I did, because I was on the verge of giving up on sleep altogether. Now, I close the day with a soft light, a grateful heart, and a spoonful of something that loves me back. So if you've been ending your nights with just fruit or nothing at all, try adding something with fiber or fat, not to spoil your diet, but to support your rest. It's not about eating more, it's about eating wiser. And sometimes the wisest thing you can do is nourish yourself enough to let go and sleep. When you're over 60 and living with diabetes, sleep doesn't always come easy. But it's not just about age or bad luck. Many of the things that rob us of rest, those midnight blood sugar dips, the trips to the bathroom, the buzzing feet, can be softened, even turned around with small, steady changes. I didn't fix everything overnight, but thank the Lord, night by night, I learned what my body needed to feel safe enough to rest. I think about how many nights I used to lie awake in frustration, not from noise, not from pain, but from not knowing what was happening inside me. And now I have tools. A little almond butter here, a warm tea there, dimmer lights, and a simple bedtime rhythm that feels like a soft landing. These aren't magic tricks. They're just everyday choices made with care, because peace doesn't just show up. Sometimes we have to prepare a place for it. If you've been feeling tired before the day even begins, I want to say this. You are not broken. You are not lazy. Your body is asking for something, and it's never too late to listen. Whether it's adjusting your evening meal, skipping that late coffee, or simply shutting down your screen an hour earlier, these little acts of love add up. Sleep may be harder now than it was at 30, but it's still possible. And when it comes, oh, how sweet it feels. Of course, every body is different. Before you change anything in your diet, supplements, or sleep habits, be sure to talk with a doctor or specialist who understands your needs. What worked for me may look a little different for you, but I truly believe there's something in here that can make your nights easier. God gave us these years for a reason. We deserve to live them well-rested and in peace. Thank you for spending this time with me. May your nights be quiet, your sugar be steady, and your mornings full of hope. Take care of yourselves, and God bless y'all.